You are now tuned in to Today with Pastor Jay on WNZF News Radio, where we discuss inspiring and informative news. And now here's your host, Pastor Jerlyn Denny.
Good morning, good morning. Wake up, good morning. It's a wonderful and beautiful day. And what in Palm Coast is going on? Got to get right into it. Immediate release. There was a press release. How about the mayor of Palm Coast he has already filed a lawsuit against the city of Palm Coast. This is crazy. And of course, I have my guest who's Chase. I love you. I love you, Chase Russell with Eagle Consulting, but I don't want to keep seeing you like this. What's going on?
It's a busy week in Palm Coast, I'll tell you that. A lot of press coming out. There is a lot of things happening, and hopefully for the better of the people here in Palm Coast.
Yeah, I guess. We hope, we pray that it is. But I'm looking at this as the Palm Coast mayor files emergency legal action to remove Charles Gambaro and call for special election. Not only was that not crazy enough, but the attorney on record is Anthony Sabatini. And everybody knows Anthony Sabatini and his reputation. He's a hammer.
Yeah, he's been fantastic as we've Mike and I have helped out with this process here, getting this suit filed. Just fantastic lawyer. I've got nothing but nice things to say about him, and he's definitely the one to represent this case and represent the people for sure.
He specializes in foolishness. That's the best way, to describe it, right?
He definitely does.
You are the PR consultant for the Palm Coast mayor, for Mike Norris.
Yes.
Why a lawsuit? Let's start with that. Why a lawsuit and why now? Because I know since Mike Norris has been in office, he's been saying that Gambaro should have, he should not have been appointed the way that he had been, that it should have been an election. He's been saying that from day one. So that's not new. But why a lawsuit and why now?
This has come from a while now. Even before Mike was elected, the appointment of Charles Gambaro it's just not per the charter. It's completely illegitimate. It's not per Florida state statute. So the prior city council, which was a lame duck council to begin with, appointing Charles Gambaro to that seat is just not real. So now you got to even go back and say every vote that's been had since then made by him, including the investigation, including the appointment of David Sullivan, all of those votes now, if this goes through and Mike wins his suit against the city, he's going to get removed and those votes are going to be null and void. So this has been the Observers put out articles on it. Flagler Lives put out articles on it. And at some point it was conspiracy theory, but now it's not so conspiracy theory when a lawyer gets involved and says, hey, these are the facts. And Mike's been screaming this from the rooftops for a very long time. And everybody said, hey, you're just trying to create strife, but it's the facts. The people want legal. They want to go by the charter and they want to stick to the charter because that's what's going to make sure the city goes forward. And if you're not sticking to the charter, then none of the charter matters. And if you can't stick to the stuff of have an election, that there needed to be an election at this very point in time on November 5th, 2024, then again, none of the charter matters if you can't stick to that.
So I've been, circling about seeing what the comments and that people have been making, and their concern was, it's going to cost entirely too much money to have an election. That people were going to have to pay, the filing costs, the filing fees. There wasn't enough time to get the petitions. I mean, it's all those types of things. But again, if it violates the charter, it violates the charter. There was no way around that.
No, there's not. I mean, the Marcus Duffy, the city attorney, had said you need to push this off till after the November 5th election. That would have had the new city council coming in and appointing somebody, which look at it however you want to look at it, but they should have never appointed. The issue you have is they appointed because they thought they were on a 90-day clock, which they were not. They may appoint.
Who gave them that information?
The city manager, I believe, at one of the meetings had said, hey, you've got 90 days, and that came out. But it per Florida state statute and the election law, you should have went to the next regularly scheduled election, which would have been November 5th. They decided to go against the city attorney's recommendations by not appointing and went ahead and appointed anyway, which lands us in this situation you're in. No fault of Mike, no fault of any of the council members.
Wait a minute. So you're saying that the Palm Coast City Council advised them not to do this?
Yeah.
But they did it anyway?
Yeah, the city attorney said you should not appoint till after the election. If you're going to appoint, don't appoint till after the election. But the election, no matter what, you still had close to 50 days between when Kathy Hyder resigned, stepped down, to the November 5th election. So that's plenty. I'm a campaign manager. That's plenty enough time to get somebody in the seat, even if you're raising petitions. It's only like 600 petitions. You can do that in a day. I've seen candidates do it in a day.
Well, couldn't the city council waive the petitions and waive the fee? That way,
not necessarily. That goes down to the supervisor of elections at some point,
okay,
whether they could do that, and that's a tricky situation. But no matter what, you could have paid the $2,200 or something like that, and that was their claim: is there's not enough time for people to get certified. That's just not true. It's just not true at all. They wanted to put their candidate up, they did, and 3 of those people that voted are no longer on the council. So you've got 2 people now that are not voted; they're not elected, and that's the whole point behind this entire lawsuit, is the fact that Mike is standing with the people and their right to vote. The people deserve to vote in people who are going to be representing them at the city level. And that's what all of this boils down to. And if you have an argument against that, then you're against the right for the people to choose their elected leaders. This
reminds me when Biden stepped down and they threw Kamala Harris up in there. No election, no anything. They just said, we're just going to slide somebody in.
It resembles that closely. I mean, you've got with the Harris campaign, you've got no delegate votes. Nobody voted for that. Mm-hmm. They basically threw, I think it was 20 million Democrat votes in the trash. They might as well have. And you're right. You're in the same situation where you're not being represented. You're not a government of the people. You're not being represented by the will of the people. And you can see with the overwhelming love for Mike and the effort to pump Mike up, the people want change. They want somebody like Mike in that office. And we talked about this last week. That's what the people want. And they're not getting what they want. They're not getting what they should be voting for. And that's, again, goes back to why this suit is the way it is and why it's being brought to their attention. But to hit on the money aspect of it, how much is this going to cost the city? One, they should have thought about that before they went against the advice of the council. And 2, or the city attorney, they should have thought about that then. And 2, Mike's paying out of his own pocket to retain a lawyer to sue the city. So he's paying out of his own pocket, and he's not asking for any money. If you actually read the suit, he's not asking for any money whatsoever.
Well, I'm going to look at this press release that I received, and it says that he is seeking a court declaration that seat 4 is currently vacant, an order compelling the city and supervisor of elections to hold a special election, an injunction to prevent further unauthorized occupancy of the seat, and a writ of quo warranto to remove Mr. Gambaro from office. They want him gone. He wants him gone.
He should be gone. He's not supposed to be there to begin with. And it goes back to all of his votes should be null and void as well, because he wasn't supposed to be there to begin with. But again, when all this got brought up and Mike had a separate judge come down and review the charter, a judge that specializes in city law, come down, review the charter, he said the same thing. And even Pierre put out an article about it, and the Observer put out an article about it from the findings of that investigation from that judge. So this has been, and that was back in January, this has been a long time coming, but everybody wanted to stuff it away in the closet and not act on it. And finally, Mike said, hey, this is not what the will of the people is. And he had to file this suit using his own money again.
All right, we're going to talk about that and see if this is something that he's filing. I got a good question. We got to take a break, but let's discuss, is this just him retaliating against all the things that's going on against him? Don't go anywhere, guys. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay.
My name is Leslie Giscombe, and I am with the African American Entrepreneurs Association, and we are delighted to be a sponsor of Today with Pastor Jay. We have a free nationwide business directory listing. You can pick that up on aaeaassociation.org. Our 800 number is 1-800-671-1397.
Welcome back. You are listening to Today with Pastor Jay, and I have Chase Russell. He is the PR consultant for the Palm Coast mayor, his personal PR consultant, I should say. You're not the consultant for the city of Palm Coast by any stretch of imagination. But there has been some eyebrows raised saying, oh, he's just filing this lawsuit, meaning Mayor Norris is filing this lawsuit because of all the allegations and the investigation of the violation that he has done himself. What say you? What do you think?
I mean, that plays a factor in this, but when you have an illegitimate, unelected official up there that is not supposed to be there, that's coming in, wreaking havoc, saying that we're going to send this, and he doesn't know Robert's rules, of course, you've got to get him off that dais. He's not working for the people, and there's not a single person that the majority of people, clearly by who voted for Mike, they don't want Gambaro up there anyway. I mean, there's Facebook pages to get him out of there. You looked at the last city council meeting the business meeting on Tuesday. There was overwhelming support against Gambaro. He's not supposed to be there, and he's wreaking havoc. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's just the cherry on top that he's gone, and now that investigation is going to be basically null and void. Now, again, it goes back. The HR complaints are going to continue to be the HR complaints. Those need to be addressed, I think, fully. Mike has already apologized for most of that. I'm pretty sure he's had multiple conversations with those individuals, and those things need to be addressed from the HR department. The compliance issues with the charter also can be addressed, but they've already voted to send that up to the ethics board. The investigation is not going to go away just because Gambaro is not there, but you're going to right a wrong when you actually elect a separate person in that District 4 seat.
I'm looking at, this is, I guess, a summary of the findings of the allegations and the violations. And it's like 55 pages long. I mean, he's barely been in office. Where all this stuff accumulated from? I had a conversation with someone earlier, someone that actually ran against Mike for mayor. He was one of the candidates. Just basic stuff. And I'm going, what is all of this about? It would appear, and this is the opinion of a lot of people, that people are just out to get Mayor Mike Norris.
The second he said moratorium, it was a race to see how many HR complaints we can get. And again, I go back to what I said.
But Teresa Pontieri mentioned a moratorium previously.
They realize they're going to be able to vote her out, and that she does swing her votes a little bit. I'm not going to talk too much on Teresa specifically, but as far as Mike goes,
what I'm saying is that's not the first time moratorium has come up. I mean, I think she has mentioned it before.
No, and he's the outliner. He's the nail sticking out. Of course, they're going to try and hammer him, and that's fine. Mike's a tough guy. Mike can handle it. He's a 24-year captain with 2 Bronze Stars. He'll be just fine. But when you look at this from a strategic standpoint, of course, he's going to get clicks. He's going to get all that. He's basically the Trump of Palm Coast at this point. And when you come in and you have that many people sitting there just backing you and they're not backing Gambaro, it's like there's clearly a disconnect between the people and the elected officials here. As far as the HR complaints go, like I said, I think those need to be addressed. I think that's things that need to happen. So, and that's a failure at the HR department. All of that stuff. Why did that get put in a report and sent up? You want to be mad. You want to be mad about the money
until now to all of a sudden that there's an issue or a problem. It seemed like some of these things were minor and had happened last year. Why are we bringing them up now? That was one of the questions that I had.
And if the question is about the money situation, like how much is this lawsuit going to cost the city? How much did that investigation cost the city?
That's a good question.
This investigation that should have been just an HR complaint, an issue held with internal of the city. You've got Ed Danko, and the Lawson Group said this in the business meeting. You've got Ed Danko, who him and 2 of his developer buddies called the Lawson Group to tell them their story, like they're running the mommy. Where did that come from? So anybody could have just called the Lawson Group and said, Mike Norris parked in my parking spot, and that would be in this report now? How much money did the city spend on that report? And now we're worried about the money that's going to be spent. It's a long
report. I mean, just a summary of it. I don't know how long it took to compile it, but some of the things they look at, I mean, the materials that they reviewed, and I'm just looking at it right here. A text from Mayor Norris with his notes on what he conveyed to the acting city manager and the chief of staff on March 10th. A statement of Brittany Kershaw dated November 15th. A statement here, another statement, another statement, another statement, another statement. Ethics complaint filed by Ed Danko. Why would Ed Danko file an ethics complaint? I'm just curious about that.
He's not even privy to the conversations. So, and again, how do you not violate sunshine laws by Ed Danko having this information? Somebody had to have violated.
Yeah, that's what's my question. Where did he get the information from to file this ethics complaint?
Why is it in an investigation report when none of it references anything towards Ed Danko?
That's my question. I'm asking you. You're asking me?
It's not. I don't know. That's the question. I have no idea why that would even be considered in the report. From a legal standpoint, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And then for him to, again, the Lawson group, Adam, I think is his name. He came down and he testified and sat there and said, "Hey, Ed Danko called me and said, I've got 2 other people that want to talk to you." And of course, those 2 other people listed on the report are developers. So I'm not a mathematician, but all signs point to, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it might be a duck. This seems like a developer hit job.
I'm looking at the materials that were reviewed. Okay, so it was this ethics complaint from Ed Danko, and we're still trying to figure out where he got that information from, because he's not part of the city council anymore, so I don't know where he got all that from. Then there's a Flagler Live report. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but that's considered a material being reviewed. Then Flagler County Buzz interview of Mayor Norris, dated March 20th. That was part of the materials being reviewed. State of the City address from YouTube. What I'm interested in is, because I've had Mike Norris on my show a few times, I think. What did it say today with Pastor Jay? I'm just kidding. Was I not in line with what they wanted? Did I not say or whatever that I guess they thought they needed? I'm not sure. I'm confused.
I don't know. I think, going back to the articles that are in there, at any point, anybody can just create. I mean, look at Flagler. It's basically a nonprofit blog that makes a profit from somewhere. It's a nonprofit blog. Is that what gets put into evidence in an investigation report now? So any blogger can just write a bad article about the mayor, and that gets put into the investigation report. Like, that
was my point.
Where does that come from?
There's no secret. I mean, I have no lost love for the mayor. I mean, he and I have had our issues and our problems in the past, but I've always been fair. It's fine. You cannot like Mike. You cannot like him as a person, and that's fantastic. You're allowed to have your opinions, but he's here to get a job done and work for the people. There's no denying that. Again, he's spending that was my point. Like I said,
the people to vote.
One thing I can say is, I'm not surprised when I look at this Lawson report thing. I'm not surprised, but for some of it just seems over the top and petty.
It's a huge HR complaint. It's that never got brought to Mike's attention. And again, he said it on Tuesday at the dais. If all of this happened back in December or November or whenever the date it was, why did that not get brought to me? And the HR department said, well, we brought it up the chain of command to Lauren Johnston. Well, why did the city manager not say it? And now the city manager had a conversation, and now it's a big deal. And again, going back to what all of the people that the Lawson group said this on Tuesday as well, all of the people that talked or put in their HR reports said, hey, I don't want it to go any further. I just wanted to put this in the report. But then the second Ed Danko gets a hold of something, it's like, hey, let's send this all up to Tallahassee. Let's send this to the ethics.
Speaking of Tallahassee, it's my understanding that there are a group of people that are trying to get the governor to remove the mayor.
From a political standpoint, I don't think that's going to happen. That would be a bad. You have 63% of the vote voted for Mike, and he's been in office for 4 months. You've got You got 2 unelected councilmen up there that are privy to that vote. That would be a very terrible decision from a political standpoint for DeSantis to come down here and do that. Plus, it got shot down 4-1 at the dais because it just doesn't make any sense. You can send it to the Ethics Commission; they can do what they want to do with it, but sending it to the governor is not going to happen. I don't.
It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. I mean, again, when I interviewed Mayor Norris not that long ago, I had asked him if he had a mentor, someone that can kind of help him because he's new at being mayor. And if he had someone that he could trust that maybe was mayor before or mayor now that maybe he can confide in and kind of how to maneuver because he's not a politician. He wasn't elected because he was a seasoned politician. He was elected because people wanted things to change. They got tired of being held hostage by people and by corporations. This is what I'm understanding, that the people wanted. So they elected him. And I suggested to him, hey, maybe you should get yourself, just someone to kind of help you and guide you along the way. When I look at this complaint and the stuff against him, pretty much all this is I'm new to being mayor. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have told somebody I want you to go because that's not the appropriate response. But that doesn't mean that the person shouldn't go or he thinks they shouldn't go, right?
Yeah, you can't unseat a duly elected mayor because he commented on toenail polish or he hurt Ed Danko's feelings. You can't. It's just not. That's not how a government works. That's ran by the people. So at this point, I would 100% agree. We could have solved this and saved the city $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. We could have saved them that much money on this report by just saying, hey, everybody's now mandated to go through annual training. He was in the military. I was in the military. You were in the military. Every single one of us went through annual training on how to manage a workplace or how to be in a workplace. And I think that needs to be done at a city level because you're getting people.
I agree. This is just going too far. So let's pivot back to this lawsuit. This lawsuit was coming way before now. Most people don't know that. So for those who think this is retaliation or anything like that, I don't think it is because I know that this lawsuit has been like teeter-tottering for several months, even before any of the ethics complaint. There were a group of citizens within Palm Coast. They were going to band together and hire an attorney themselves. Mm-hmm. So kudos for Mayor Norris for doing it himself. Because what people don't know is that there were a group of citizens that was about to do it. Does that have anything to do with why the mayor went forward on his own and did it? Because he knew the citizens were rising up and they were going to pool their money together to sue the city?
Yeah, there's a large group of individuals that have expressed concerns. I'm not too privy to that, but as far as the mayor moving forward with this, it's been in talks for a while. Like you said, this has been a thing that's been ongoing. And it wasn't until now that it was like, hey, let's go ahead and get this filed and done up. And then we had the right attorney on board and everything like that. So as far as Mike making the decision to pull the trigger and actually get this done, I think it was just so many people had came to him and said, hey, we need to do something. You're the person that can do it. And Mike is, again, he's a leader by nature, and that's what he did. He put his money together. He did it on his own. He's not getting any outside money from this or for this. And he's just paying for it out of his own pocket because he genuinely does love the city. He loves the people. He wants to make sure this city does well. And that's the whole reason he ran for office to begin with.
Okay, well, we got to take a break. Don't go anywhere, guys. You are listening to Today with Pastor Jay.
Hey, this is James Bellino, pastor of Church on the Rock, and I want to personally invite you to our services on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Our church is located at Route 1 in Bunnell, and we offer a service that seeks the Holy Spirit to be led and guided in the kingdom of God's people coming together to be trained and equipped and then to be sent out into the community. Christ said to make disciples, to go throughout the earth. And that's our call, and that's our belief at Church on the Rock. Visit our website at churchontherockpc.com.
Immediately following Today with Pastor Jay at 8:30 a.m., you'll go from hearing me on a talk show to hearing me in my church service. Join me, Geraldine Ministries Reverse Church, by dialing in 904-701-7177. Listen, you don't have to get up to go to church now. You can just call in 904-701-7177. Dial in and listen to the Word of God today.
Welcome back. I want to give a thank you and a shout out to Church on the Rock. Thank you so very much for sponsoring Today with Pastor Jay. And it is Mother's Day. So even though this has been a hot and heavy topic, right? Let's just talk about mothers. Chase, I know you have a beautiful wife. And are you celebrating Mother's Day with her today, or what you doing?
Sunday. We're going to go to church on Sunday. And then I've got a few things planned for. I'm not going to say.
Oh, you can't tell me?
I can't tell you.
Oh, it's going to be early. Well,
no.
I can tell you this. She's a phenomenal woman of faith. And we are actually honoring her for She Leads Florida on May the 17th. She's being honored for her faith. So tell me about your wife and what makes her so special.
No, she's fantastic. Kirsten, she helps out at our youth group at church. She has a super passion for the youth, the next generation, raising them up in a Christian home. We've got 3 kids, obviously, so it's always fun that we homeschool. We do the homesteading thing. And like I've said before, a lot of people, when they look at me, they're like, hey, you're probably like, some eccentric person that has a ton of flashy stuff. No, it's all about the homestead. She runs the homestead, the chickens, the garden, everything like that. So she's just a fantastic person. And to all the moms out there that are really working hard, it's nice to have that day to honor them, and I'm excited to honor her on Sunday. So
okay, no hint about what she's gonna get, huh?
No hint yet, but she will be up. She'll be up there in St. Augustine, hanging out with you at She Leads. She's super excited about it.
Yeah, we're excited to have her. We've got several women that are coming that we're going to be honoring on May the 17th for She Leads Florida. Very excited about that. We're also going to be honoring Sam Sorbo. She's going to be there as well, and she's all about homeschooling. I don't know. I ask people, do you remember Kevin Sorbo and Sam Sorbo from Hercules? And everybody go, no, you too young for that, Chase? I wonder.
Probably too young for an hour.
Okay.
A little young.
But yeah, and Dr. Alveda King is going to be here as well. She's the co-director for She Leads Georgia. So we're just going to have a phenomenal time. And I don't know if you might be babysitting. I mean, you going to be kids sitting at home, or are you going to make it, or what?
I think I'm going to take my kids out that night and hang out. But Kirsten and a few people, you've got quite the lineup coming up there for She Leads.
We do. We have the head of Florida Right to Life. She's coming. We've got National Day of Prayer. We've got a woman that has her own aviation ministry.
Wow.
Women, and we've got 3 judicial judges that we're going to be honoring for their faith. A couple of people in the state house. It's going to be great. It really is going to be great. Erica Donalds is also going to be honored. She Leads Florida this year. I'm just excited to be in the room. So you must be in the room, and everybody must be in the room. And Chase, thank you so very much. If you have a mom and she's living, or a wife that's a phenomenal mom, you make sure you hug them and kiss them and love on them. Don't let politics and all this foolishness get in the way. Thanks, Chase. I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
All right, guys, you know what I say? Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not promised. What are you going to do today? Today, you are going to celebrate a mom above and beyond anything that you can imagine and think. God bless you. Have a great day.